Right, we're live. Right, what we got? Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, TikTok over here. As usual with the super orange white. I would love to know why I have this. Enhance. I haven't got any enhancements on. What have I got? Oh, maybe I have a filter on. No, I don't. None. Maybe it's just the camera. Right. Give it a couple of minutes for people to join. Those are on TikTok. I haven't got enough characters to show what I'm going to talk about, but I'm going to talk about what I think is the best muscle building training split if you are a man who's over 40 and you are returning to the gym or you are completely new. Most of my content is based or kind of aimed at people that are kind of beginner / moving into intermediate and over 40. I will preface this by saying there probably isn't a best training plan, and sometimes the best one is just the one you can do. But I'm going to talk about what I think you probably should do if you want to gain muscle without being in the gym 24/7. And that's really what most guys want, especially the guys I work with. So let's talk about this, because obviously what I get a lot of questions I get are how should I train? What exercises should I do? What days should I train? You know, it's common. A lot of the men I see in the gym that I go to, and of course I've been going to gyms for 20 years now, and I've worked in them for many, many years. It's just people just wandering around doing what I think is probably the wrong thing, doing exercises that are probably a waste of time. I saw a guy today doing something that I was like, I just can't see the need for it. There may be a need for it, but to me there wasn't. So let's discuss this because, well, what happens if you get this wrong? If you don't choose the right training plan, and when I say training, I'm talking about resistance training, weight training. I'm not talking about cardio, aerobic training, trying to be a better runner, sportsman. I'm talking about the training we need to get stronger and gain muscle so we can look better, feel better. And of course, as we get older, we can kind of stay mobile. MacBook is low. Would help if I had the charger on. Right, so let's talk about this. If you don't get it right, then you don't gain muscle. I think a mistake that a lot of men make when it comes to training, and I made this mistake, is following training plans that are done by either professional athletes or bodybuilders. Essentially, there are a lot of men, and again, I remember I'm talking about men who are fairly new to training or returning after many years off. Like if I had a break from training 4 or 5 months, 6 months, a year, which I have done a couple of times due to my ulcerative colitis, I would do the training plan I'm about to talk about. I think a lot of men make the mistake of doing training plans that are too advanced, essentially. It's a bit like, you know, wanting to learn a language and you go straight into a class that is full of people that are fluent. You're just going to sit there and be like, well, this is not going to be very, very productive. So the training plan I think most men should start with is a full body split. A full body split is essentially within the session. Here's the dog. Puppy, come here. He's chewing a pen, typical of a puppy. A full body split is when you're going to train the whole body. Now, the first thing that people say when I say to them, maybe you should train with a full body approach is, I don't have time to do that. I don't have time to train my whole body because I will be in the gym for hours. I did a post about full body training probably about a year ago. It was one of the best videos I've done, and I'm talking about TikTok. It was one of the ones that probably had the most views. And a common comment when I said this was guy saying, I can't do a full body training split because I haven't got time to be in the gym for 2 or 3 hours. If that is your first thought when someone says, I would like you to do full body training split, then your understanding of training is, well, it needs to be improved, because when you do full body training, you don't do endless sets on every muscle group because you're going to do it frequently. So why choose a full body split? Now, a full body split might be done something like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday, Sometimes people just do it every other day on, day off, day on, day on, day off. I like this kind of training because, even now, I still do some full bodies from time to time, even though I've kind of, I'm not a beginner. I like it because I can have it on set days. The benefit of full body training for somebody that is new. There are two, maybe three main benefits to full body training when you're new. One, you don't have to be in the gym as much. A lot of the men I work with who are 40 plus, they're very busy. They don't really have time to be in the gym every single day. So doing a full body training plan worked really well because they can do it. I think you can get great results with 3 sessions a week. I do 4. I got better results when I switched from doing 6 days a week to 4. Probably because I was trained. I realized I had to train harder because I was in there, I was in there less frequently. So there's one benefit of full body training, is that you don't have to be in the gym as much. Sometimes these sessions do get longer. That is a caveat. That is something that sometimes happens. And I will talk about, at the end of this live, I will talk about reasons why you might not benefit from it. Typically, this is time-based. So there's one benefit of full body training. You can get a lot done in 3 sessions. 3 sessions of an hour, you can do pretty well. Remember, I'm speaking to beginners here, or people that haven't trained for a very long time. When your body it's not used to training. So you go in there and you do 1 set, 2 sets of push-ups and your chest is sore. You do a hamstring curl for a couple of sets and maybe a couple of sets of leg press and your legs are sore. Like, you don't need to be doing, if we stick with chest, you don't need to be doing flat, incline and a fly, for example, in kind of what you might do in a bro split. So you don't have to be in the gym as much. You can go in, a couple of back exercises, maybe a chest, a push, maybe an overhead press, maybe some kind of like leg compound, and then maybe like a hamstring curl or an RDL. And you will, if you do a couple of sets and you work hard, you will provide your body with enough stimulus to grow. Any more, and you'd probably be too sore. You would find yourself being so sore that you actually then can't train again anyway, or you can't train frequently again. You do the Monday. And this happens with clients sometimes. I will give them a full body session where they might only have 4 exercises, 5, or maybe 1 or 2 sets, and they'll still be crazy sore the next day for a couple of days. This is to be expected when you're beginning. That obviously subsides. So there's one benefit. You don't have to be in the gym as frequently. Benefit number 2 is that you essentially expose your body to more frequent stimulus for growth. When you go into the gym and you train, you increase muscle protein synthesis. It goes up, it comes back down. If you can do that frequently, there was a video recently with Jordan Peters, and I've always done full body training, and Jordan Peters talks about this a lot in his YouTube channel, and he's done the maths on it. If you train chest once a week for a whole year, you're going to get 52 sessions. But if you train the chest 3 or 4 times a week over the course of a whole year, you're going to get 150 to 200 training sessions. So you can progress quicker. To me, that seems like a much better thing to do. Somebody who talked about this extensively when I was kind of first learning more about bodybuilding after university was Dante Trudell. Google Dante Trudell or Google dog crap training. He had a kind of really good kind of, his was an upper lower plan. But there's a really famous article on Intense Muscle where he talks about kind of essentially how frequently can you train muscles? Is it better to do legs once a week versus twice versus 3 times? If you're a beginner, I think it's better to do it more frequently. As you get more advanced, there's no way you're going to be able to do it. I tried up until recently. I was training everything 3 times a week, doing fortitude training. A lot of you will be watching this thing. You have no idea what this is, but it's a great training plan. It's a 4-day split, and everything is trained 3 times because you basically do full body, upper, lower. And that started to get quite hard for me to recover from, even with lower volumes. So then now I've just switched onto upper, lower. And I feel like maybe I just needed to change, but it was good. So there's your benefit number 2 of somebody that's new. More frequent exposure to the stimulus that will help you gain muscle. You won't be able to do it forever, but probably for 6 months at least, you can do it. I know Jordan talks about it a lot, and I've seen this with clients as well, that what typically stops people doing full body training long term is it gets hard. Like once you get to the point when you're doing like maybe on you're doing like a leg press, a row, or a deadlift, and you're doing presses and overhead presses. Basically, you're not doing any kind of bicep curls or tricep extensions or things that are somewhat easier. Those sessions become very hard when you look at your logbook and say to yourself, shit, man, every one of these exercises every one of these sets is going to be grueling. But if you're new, I would try the full body. And the third benefit, which I think people don't really talk about, is the ability to master the skill of lifting quicker. Let's say you're new to the gym, never been before in your life, or you've never really been taught. You go in there, and of course, you could do some free weights, but even the machines are easier. But you're gonna have to do these exercises, and some of these exercises will be some will be easier to do. Bicep curl, for example, tricep extensions. Some will be more technical, squats and deadlifts. It's kind of a spectrum, I guess, between a machine bicep curl right up to a deadlift or a squat. And I did an exercise today that I've never done before. Frequently, I did a stiff leg deadlift from the floor. I've done RDLs, I've done stiff legs from the top. I've done deadlifts when I was powerlifting, and it was just like I saw again going back to Jordan Peters, seeing him and some of his guys doing basically a deadlift from the floor with the legs stay stiff. I've never done it before, and I did it today, and that is going to take me probably several weeks to master the form enough that I can go heavy with confidence, so that in a way that it doesn't hurt my back, don't blow a disc, and I can train hard. Think about that. After 20 years of lifting, I come in, I've done a new exercise. Of course, my idea of my ability to do these exercises is better than most because it isn't that far away from deadlifting, but I still have to spend some time mastering it. Which kind of leads me to my point. If you are new to the gym and you go in on a Monday and you just do chest, let's say you do the traditional Mondays of the chest day, and then you don't do chest till the following Monday, that's a whole week goes past where you haven't been able to kind of practice the form. You're not learning the movement patterns. It's like saying, I want to learn a language and I'm only going to learn it on a Monday, or I want to learn an instrument. I'm only going to play on the Monday. Well, actually, with those two examples, you would probably do it multiple times a day, every day. The sooner you can master exercise technique, since I started this live, I've had like 4 missed calls. It gets very distracting. The sooner you can master exercise technique, the sooner you can then start to progressively get stronger, challenge yourself safely, and grow. So if you take 2 beginners, and let's say we have 2 twins, one of them does chest every Monday, but I have the other guy doing a full body where he's doing some chest work on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I keep the movements fairly similar. I might go from a bench press to maybe a dumbbell press, or maybe then to a machine press. Or with my beginners, sometimes I actually give them the same plan. They're so new that they do the same exercise plan for a couple of weeks, 3 or 4 weeks, maybe, depends on how quickly they learn it. And then we add in day 2, repeat the process, add in day 3, repeat the process. That person will learn to be able to do the exercises quicker, and therefore their ability to get stronger will be quicker. So there are several benefits here to doing full body training, which I think are worth you considering. When I was, many of you don't know who I am, but I've been doing personal training now for, this is my 18th year or my 17th year. And when I first started personal training, nobody did bro splits as big. No, you didn't give any clients bro splits or push pull legs or even upper lower. It was always taught like, full body is the best way to go. Back then, I didn't really kind of appreciate, or I guess analyze it as much as I do now as to why. And I made the mistake of, I think it was a mistake of doing bro splits. I grew up bodybuilding when there was no social media. We just read magazines, and I would get Flex magazine or Muscle and Fitness, and it would have Ronnie Coleman's plan or Jay Cutler, and it'd be like, this is his, well, I was going to say this is his leg plan, but I didn't train legs then. So I would just see like, this is his chest plan. And it would be like, Monday, you do this, because it was always Monday. And I was guilty of doing like 4 or 5 chest exercises on a Monday, 3 sets each, incline, decline, flat, flies, upper, flies for the upper chest, push-ups. Looking back, I have made some progress, but I made far more progress. The most amount of progress I've made is when I switched from the 6-day plan that I was doing, which is kind of push, pull, legs. And I went back to Scott Stevenson's fortitude training. Now that might be because I also think that was the first time in a long time that I'd gone back to really focusing on getting stronger. Prior to doing the push, pull, legs, I did powerlifting. So as a general brief history of how my kind of career went with lifting is I did a powerlifting meet. So I did powerlifting for a couple of years, which means you have to get stronger. I think after the powerlifting, I was a bit burnt out. So I just started bodybuilding. I started to just go for a pump. I stopped logging in my book. I kind of fell away from the things at work and I made less progress for it, but maybe I was just burnt out from going into the gym and having to trying to squat heavy and deadlift heavy. And then I actually went to Norwich to do a seminar with Scott Stevenson, who wrote the ebook I followed. He came over from Florida, and Jordan Peters. And I went there and I was like, right, these guys work much harder than me. So I came back from that seminar. I thought I'm going to try fortitude training and I'm going to go back to log in my sessions and I'm going to progressively get stronger. And some of the things I did was get like my stiff-legged RDL, my stiff-legged deadlift from like 150 kilos to 250 kilos. My rack, not that I would do rack pulls now, but I took my rack pull from 200 to 300 kilos. I got my squat 210 kilos for 8. So I just went back to just real basic training more frequently and progressively getting stronger. And I made more progress. And I think that was because I reduced the volume, I focused more on intensity, and I did things a little bit more frequently in some respects. So there's what I feel like are the pros of full body training. The one downside really is I do get clients that can't do it from a schedule point of view. Because of course, if you're going to train full body, you have to do day on, day off, day on, day off. You can't train your full body several days in a row. If you are someone that's saying, Phil, this sounds very, very good, but I have to train on a Monday and a Tuesday, and then I have to do a Wednesday and a Thursday, and then maybe a Sunday, then your next best bet would be kind of an upper lower, or like fortitude training would work quite well there. So it might be like you might have like a Monday and a Tuesday. So you've got a back-to-back day. So you might go upper lower on those 2 days. Then you might say, well, actually, I can do Friday and Sunday. Or it might be like Thursday and Saturday. Because there's a gap, you might then do full body training, which is quite similar to what fortitude training is with its. I did Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. Full body, off, upper lower. So that is kind of your next best thing. And I feel like that will be better than most of you doing push-pull legs initially. And definitely, if you look at Jordan Peters' series, he even talks about weight. And I'm talking, people who probably don't know who he is. This guy is somebody who's shorter than me and double my weight and leaner. He's a freak. And even he's kind of done videos on why he didn't go to a kind of bro split. In most cases, it won't work. And in his videos, the only thing I'll add to this, like he said, is unless you really enjoy bro splits, like unless you really want to do a training split. I've had a client I worked with a client a few years ago to help him lose weight, kind of get in shape. Came back to me yesterday. He's going to start giving me after a couple of years, and I'm going to help him gain muscle. And he wants to go, and I wrote him a full body plan. And now he wants to do like a bro split. And I said, like, why do you want to do it? And he said, I just enjoy it. So I'm not going to say no. I'm going to say to him, I think you could do a better split. But ultimately, it does have to come down to what you'll follow. Lee's put, hi, mate, with full body training, how many exercises would you do per body part? Same as upper lower. With full body, it's best to think of it as how much total volume do you need for the week? Because really that's what matters. So, you might start off, the best way to do it is kind of maybe say how much you need and work backwards. So let's say you want to do 12 sets per week. 12 sets per week, research shows you might need to be anywhere from kind of 8 to 20. I think those are higher volume training plans are typically, I think the science, you see a lot of the literature, I don't think the people that do them work as hard. I know personally that the harder I work, the fewer I can do. So, but let's take a hypothetical number. Let's say you want to train your chest and it needs 12 sets over the entire week. Well, then you can just work backwards and say, right, if I'm going to do 3 full body sessions, then I'm going to have to do 4 sets. I'm going to have to do 4, 4, 4. If I'm just going to do upper lower, it's going to be 6 and 6. So then what you've got now is a per session amount of sets. Hopefully this makes sense. And then what you can say to yourself is, okay, what do I want to do with those sets? So if you're someone who's quite, let's go with the kind of full body, we're going to do 4, 4, 4. I might just have a beginner do, and we'll stick with chest. I might have a beginner say, like, those 4 sets on every session are very balanced. There's no like one session is more upper chest versus lower chest. Or so you might say, right, every session is going to have 2 exercises, 1 incline press, 1 flat press, or 1 incline fly, 1 flat fly. And because you need 4 working sets, you only need to do 2 sets of each. Hopefully that makes sense. If you're going to do an upper lower split, then chances are you might. I like 2 sets. You don't have to do 2 sets, but today I'm currently doing upper lower, and I do 2 sets mostly. I do like a several warm ups, heavy set, a bit of a back off set, and move on. If I was going to do upper lower and I needed those 12 sets, and I was going to do maybe upper lower, then you would do. Then chest is being trained twice per week, therefore it needs 6 sets. And then in that session, I might do 3 exercises with 2 sets. That's not to say that you couldn't do 2 exercises with 3 sets. Hopefully that makes more sense. And I've done a video on this, but it's like with TikTok, it's probably going to be quite hard to find. The best way to look at how many exercises you need to do is probably better to say, how much volume do I need to do for the week? How many sessions how many times I'm going to train that muscle group, and then how do I break down that per session volume, and what exercises do I want to do? If somebody's more advanced, then they might not have a balance. It might be like, mine is I'm doing legs twice a week. One is more quad focused, and one is more hamstring focused. So on the quad focused session, there are 2 exercises for quads, 1 for hamstring, and then I swap it. So again, you can just start to play around. So that, and obviously that kind of creating these plans will depend on what, how balanced you need to be. Sticking with the kind of, the demographic I'm talking about here with beginners, chances are that's going to be an irrelevant thing to worry about. Most beginners don't need to focus on certain muscle groups or certain portions. They're just small in general, and they just need to build more muscle. Hopefully that helps in your kind of clear up in your mind how many exercises you need to do. Base it by how much volume you need. So that's kind of sums up the training really, in terms of what I think is the best place to start for somebody who is more of a beginner, somebody that is over 40, and somebody just want. And this is specific to muscle building. This isn't related to sports performance or anything like that. Hope that helps. Full body is a good way to go. You get to you do the exercises more frequently. You get to stimulate muscle protein synthesis more frequently, and it doesn't take as much time. Typically, you don't have to be in the gym as much. Right, I'm going to call that a day because now it is lunchtime. Let's get rid of that comment because it's weird. Any questions? I am. For those who are who've been struggling to do this on their own, and want a coach to actually write this stuff out, I might be able to help. I always say I can't help everyone. But if you want to, if you are watching on Facebook, link or LinkedIn here, then you can just send me a private message because you're probably in my network. If you are on TikTok, you can either follow me and send me a message, or there's a link in my bio with a little application form if you would like to discuss having someone help you maybe get your head around this and maybe start seeing some results maybe a bit faster if you've been trying and not really getting anywhere. Right, enjoy the rest of your day. I'm going to try and go live. I'm doing 12 o'clock now because the evenings weren't doing as well. I'm going to try and do most days at 12. You ready to go? Right, I've got to go. See you later.